Guitar Goomba Lucky here again for episode 2 of our giveaway guitar build. We're going to start the finishing today. Now I've already applied a coat of the pre-stained wood conditioner. All of the products I'm using today are just stuff you can get from your local hardware store or supercenter. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some stain, get it on a little rag. We're going to start working it into the wood. Now here I want to start lighter and go darker because I want a bit of a burst finish. I'm going to blend it in. The stain that I'm using here first is golden oak. I want to rub a bit of that in. You see how that brings out the grain there? You also notice that we have some areas with some fairly open grain and even some little pockets there. Now that's actually a hole that's drilled through for the ground that goes to the bridge. Now I want to put some on the back as well. Now the purpose of the pre-stain conditioner is that it prevents blotchiness in the wood. Now whenever I finish a section, I'm going to change to a new clean rag. Now the thing about this, my second stain is English chestnut. I want to make sure that it's mixed up well. I already shook these earlier and let them settle so that there wouldn't be any bubbles in them. Now what you want to do is get your rag, dip it into your stain. Preferably don't put the rag directly into the can of stain, but this stain was acquired specifically for this project, so it's not that big of a deal. Okay, now I want to get closer to my edge here. I want to get up into here. I want to rub that in. I want to rub all of this in, right around the edges. And what I'm going to do is take a fresh towel and I'm going to rub my stain in toward the center, which should help bring about that burst effect that I'm after. Now I want to go directly in from the edge where that is, and you can see that it's taken off a bit of the stain, and that's what we want. Now I'll go back to my chestnut rag, get a little more chestnut, and then start working that in around here. Now generally, I would not burst the back of the guitar, but I figure why not? And I say generally as if I do this a lot, but as I've already stated, this is my first ever guitar build. So I figure, why not get that burst going, right? So now, back to the front. Now I'm not sealing up my stains because I'm going to go back and go over it to blend it in a little better, and I'm going to want to use more stain for that. Now we're moving on to the espresso. And I want to kind of punch out my rag there a little. Suck some of that up. And we're going to go to the edge. All the way up to the edge. And I'm gonna... There goes my microphone. Oh no! Yeah, the microphone thing and all that is because I had audio issues on the last one. And I want to make the best possible quality recordings for you guys so that you will subscribe, like, and come back and tell all your friends about what an awesome guitar I'm building here. Now you can see the espresso is really a dirty wood look to it, which is what I'm after. And as I continue rubbing it through and rubbing it around, it's going to pick up more and more of the undertones. And then I can take my blending rag and I can blend this in like such. Because we don't want a hard line at the transition between the colors. And now we'll go to the back, get back on with our espresso and get on that. Now, staining the guitar, staining the wood I should say, is going to raise the grain. So I'm going to have to sand this back. Now on the back of the guitar, that's not an issue at all. On the front of the guitar, because the veneer is so thin, I'm going to have to be really careful. Because that veneer is super, super thin. And I don't want to break through the veneer and ruin the work that I've done so far. So, we're going to want to be a little more careful there. Now, around the sides, I'm going to go straight for the espresso. Just going to wipe that on. And that should suck up the espresso like it's going out of style. And yes, I know I'm getting stain all over the binding. That's fine. I want the binding to be a little antiqued looking. Now, I don't want that pristine, clean, even though it is kind of cream colored. I don't want the binding to be all nice and pretty when the guitar is so kind of dingy and brown. Going for kind of maybe like a little cowboyish type theme here. Not necessarily country music, but you know, just kind of cowboy. And of course at this point I am getting stain all over my hands, and that's fine because I'm a big boy and I can handle it. Now when you do the top and the bottom, when you get to the end grain, that really sucks up the stain. The edge grain over on the sides sucks it up pretty good too, but the ends really absorb it. What we want to do is let that sink in for a while. Let it soak it up. And then, here in a little while, we'll come back and work it some more. Okay guys, I've let this set for 5 minutes or so. Now what I'm going to do is take a clean rag and I'm just going to wipe off the excess stain. Now I know that there are ways that I could do this better. And of course that is part of the journey, figuring out ways to do it better. Now if you look on the back here, this is looking pretty, well, not good. So I'm going to take my mid stain, my medium, which is the English chestnut, and I'm going to hit this a little more. Always keep your rags separated. And what I'm doing here is kind of drawing the outline of my burst or my fade. And then I will come in and work to it in small circles. Okay. Now, I take some more of my golden oak and get up here in the middle some more and blend that in a little better. There we go. Now I will take the rag that I used for my espresso, but I'm not going to put any more espresso on it at the moment, and I will wipe that around the edge here. And kind of clean that up. Then I will take my smoothing rag and I will wipe the whole thing down like so. And then wipe across the top. Get that golden in. Yeah. You see, now that looks a lot more realistic, looks a lot more properly faded, not so blotchy and splotchy. But you definitely can see the different tones, which is what I'm going for here. So now back to the front. We're going to take some more espresso and work it around the edges. Okay, and then just walk the steps backwards. A little more of the chestnut for my mid-tone here. And now, a little more of our golden oak. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I'm liking that golden oak. Now, I don't know how much of this is really going to show after I put all the hardware and the plates and the bridge and all that back on. All right, guys, that's where I'm going to call it for today. And I'm going to let this stain dry, give this some time to gas out. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do a light sand over it, and we're going to see how our stain looks after that. And then if the stain is good to go, then we'll go ahead and start our coats of lacquer. If it doesn't look good, then we will do some more staining. So, till the next time, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment if you want to actually win this guitar. Because when I finish this build, I'm going to give this guitar away to one of my subscribers. And all you have to do to win is, as I just said, subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment below. And if you didn't see the first video, there's a, video, like a link right there that you can click. And for subscribing, that'll be like right there. So, till the next time, get out in your garage or wherever your workspace is and show me what you got.